Getting really good at hearing key numbers is as close as having a superpower as you will ever get. Because imagine that you listen to a song and you hear the melody and you start to recognize the feelings of each note. You're like, this is 1, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and so forth. Then you can just go to the piano, play those numbers, and you will play the melody perfectly as long as you know what key to play in. So now we're gonna really focus on how you can progressively get more and more comfortable hearing and recognize these numbers no matter what key you play in. Now when practicing key numbers, it's very important that you think about the why rather than the what. For example, if I play in the key of C major, we notice that when I play the C note, I release the tension. Now what is releasing the tension? It's C. Now I don't want to think what, I want to think why. Why is C releasing the tension? It's because it's 1, it's the home within the key. So it's very important that you think with the numbers rather than the specific notes. Now for the first exercise you want to choose any key. And since we're already in the key of C major, I will use that as an example. Then you will choose any note that you can comfortably sing. So here I choose F, which is number 4 within the key. Now once you have sang your starting note, you want to look at any of the nearby keys and see if you can sing it before you play it. Remember that the closest notes are usually the easiest one, so in my case that would be E or G, and the farther away you go, the harder it usually becomes. Alright, so let's see if I can sing G here, which is 5. Yeah, close enough, right? So now I know that I have a pretty good mental representation of how 4 to 5 sounds like. Now we can make it a little harder and see if we can play G, which is 5, and then sing 1, C. Once we do a bigger jump, I like to sing in steps. This is kind of where I feel the home. This is where I feel the tension releases. And it's close enough. Now by doing this and slowly challenge yourself more and more, just a few minutes each day, the way you can imagine notes before you even play them will drastically improve and make your overall playing by ear so much easier. Slowly you can also start to increase the speed. And so forth. Now the second exercise you want to perform is quite similar to the first one. You want to start with playing any note you can comfortably sing. Now from it, you want to sing a melody. Once you have sung it, I want to see if you can replicate it first try. So now you carefully have to think about the numbers you most likely sang. It sounds like we are doing a big jump upwards here. It kind of sounds like we go to the 5th number, and then it sounds like we go a tiny step downwards, probably to number 4, and then it sounds like we go back to this high number, which I think is 5. Let's try it. And there I mimicked what I just played. Then I want you to choose the note you just landed on and repeat the exercise. Now you can progress this by singing longer and longer melodies and also singing in bigger and bigger melodic leaps. Just keep in mind that as you sing, you always want to look at the keys and try to imagine the keys playing as you sing the melody. Now the third exercise is one of my favorite. You want to start with any note within the key. Let's use 6 as an example. You want to get comfortable singing it, and then you want to write it down. Afterwards, you are not allowed to touch the piano. Once you have written down your starting number, you will write down a short melody from it. Here as an example, I've written down 6, 5, 6, 1, 7, 5, 6. And then I want you to try to imagine how they sound. Imagine what notes these are, imagine that you play them, and sing as you do. Now since we are in the key of C major, I know this would be A, G, A, C, B, G, A. I will close my eyes and I will carefully just try to sing it. Then I will check on the piano and see which one I got right, which one I got wrong, and try to think about the reason why. Now, I remember when I started out, this sounded horrible. If I would do this exercise, it would sound like kind of something like that. I was completely off. But by starting very, very easy, just a few notes, progressively challenged myself more and more, eventually it got so much easier. So when you do these 3 exercises, there are a few ways you can progress them. You can choose more and more notes. You can choose more and more challenging distances. You can also limit yourself to just a few numbers. Start with only singing 1, 2, 3. Get very, very comfortable with this one. Get very, very comfortable with the feelings they provoke. And then progressively add 4, 5, and so forth. This is something that I find very, very fun, but it's also the downside of teaching yourself. You always need to figure out the balance between not too easy, not too hard, so you can progressively progress over time. And just as a final reminder, keep in mind that you can do this within any key. If you do it in D major, the concept is the same and the numbers will feel the same. That's why it's so important that you don't think about the notes you play, rather the numbers they create.